Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity. How's it going, my squids? Today we're going to have a bit of a discussion on Anthem, and the question here is, did it get better? And the reason that I'm kind of bringing all this up at the moment is because I played it yesterday, the 21st. It's the 22nd that I'm recording it, and it's an interesting experience because if you guys know anything from my review, I hate Anthem. It was the worst experience for me because I couldn't even play the game physically. If you watch my review at all, I did an entire Anthem review at a loading screen, and it was a 10+ minute video, and it was at a loading screen. So if anybody was more critical on Anthem, it was probably me. And I haven't really been keeping up with Anthem because it just left such a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just like, this shit is unacceptable. I can't support this, and I don't even want to own this game. It's really bad. It was really bad. Now, like I said, the question is, has it gotten better? I can wholeheartedly say yes, but the problem is the lack of content. So let me just kind of break down what I'm talking about. So when I returned, we kind of eased into it a little bit because we hadn't played for a couple months, and we played on hard difficulty, which, that yielded surprisingly 1 or 2 masterwork items off of Tyrant Mine, I believe was what we played, and that was, it was a pretty easy run. I kind of got the flow of things really quickly, and we ended up getting, a couple masterwork items off of that, which was surprising, like I said, because before, man, that shit was like a goddamn fucking sap dose running through the sky. This shit's impossible to find. And then we were like, okay, we kind of eased into it. We know what we're doing now, so we bumped it up to Grandmaster 1, and then we decided to play the Scar stronghold. I kind of forgot the name of it, but we played that one, and surprisingly enough, that stronghold yielded 2 legendary items, both for me and Steve, or I shouldn't say we got 2 each. I got 1 and he got 1, that's what I mean. So on top of us getting a legendary item, we also got pretty hefty amount of masterworks as well. We got about 3 or 4. I think I got 1 legendary and I got 3 masterwork rifles, which was really cool because they were all different. They were not the same thing. I got it'll be on the screen somewhere, but I got some pretty good rifles, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then we played for a couple more, I think we played for an extra hour, and we essentially got masterwork after masterwork, and it kind of died out. That was pretty much the high point. It was almost as if EA knew we were gonna come in and just play the game, and they were like, let's entice these guys since they've been away for so long and give them some bullshit, which that I wouldn't even believe if that was a if that was a system that was implemented. I wouldn't even be surprised realistically, but I doubt it. The point being is that the loot has definitely improved for sure. If you were worried about looting and having that looter shooter feel to it, it kinda is getting there for sure, but it's definitely not where I want it to be at. Granted, we were only playing on hard and Grandmaster 1, so maybe this is a bit negative on my end, and I should have maybe tried Grandmaster 2 or 3, but I just, it was just me and Steve, and we were playing with randos, so we didn't want to, stress too much about it, and plus we were just getting back into the game, so it is what it is. But just from my experience on Grandmaster 1, I can probably say that if you're playing on 2 or 3, you're probably gonna get some legendaries as well as a buttload of masterworks as well. It definitely feels like Grandmaster 1 was very generous in giving us masterwork items. Even though we got only 1 legendary, masterworks weren't exactly very short in abundance either, just because we were able to actually get at least 2 or 3 per run. Tyrant Mine seemed to yield a little bit less masterwork items. I'm not sure if it's because the difficulty or whatever, but whenever we did the Scar stronghold, that one seemed to yield a lot more masterwork items. Maybe because the boss is harder or because the dungeon is harder. I'm not really sure what the thing is there, but as far as I could tell, I mean, it was I don't really know, it was weird. So while I can definitely say that the loot has gotten better, the game has the problem of just being stale after literally an hour of playing. Now, when it comes to looter shooters, I'm no stranger to it. It's one of my favorite titles to play. I mean, I'm still playing the fucking Division. I haven't even beat that game at all. I'm still looting shit, going through the motions, the whole 9 yards, and just because I'm so pressed for time. But it's just, Anthem's issue lies in the lack of content. There's nothing there to keep you interested. You're essentially just kind of running the same like strongholds over and over and over again, trying to get gear, doing the legendary quests, which yield kind of, you know, mediocre stuff. Like I did one, I had a couple lined up because before we were doing the glitch where you could just kind of glitch out the quest until it gives you a masterwork item or whatever, or legendary, and we were doing that before the patch, and it was kind of whatever. I did the quest and it didn't yield anything. It didn't even yield a masterwork item. It literally gave me only a purple. So in that regard, I can say, yeah, I would not want to do legendary quests or epic quests, whatever they're called. I'd rather just stick to the strongholds. It makes more sense because the quest really didn't give me anything. But just having only a couple strongholds, and there's been realistically only like patches to fix problems that should have been not problems at all on release day. It just the roadmap is being delayed from what I heard from Young and a bunch of just really pathetic bullshit that needs to be addressed like right away. And the fact that they were like radio silent for so long, and the game mechanically in the looting area got better, but the lack of content has slowed down so much because they've probably just been busy fixing the game that shouldn't have had these problems to begin with. If you stopped playing Anthem and you were to come back right now, you would have fun for roughly about an hour to 2 hours perhaps, but you would get that definite stale taste in a matter of minutes just playing it, because you're gonna realize that strongholds are essentially the best way to beef up your, you know, your I forgot what the hell they're even called, javelins. I don't know, it's really hard to kind of just justify it being bad, because like if everything was on track in the way it is now, if the game were to release as it is now, I wouldn't really have any complaints realistically. But the reality is it took them months just to get where they are now, so it's hard to be like, yeah, I can wholeheartedly recommend this game, because I still can't. I just can't. If you've already grinded out all the way to, you know, like 600, you know, power level, or 700. I got a guy on my friends that says like 700. I didn't even know you could go that fucking high. That's crazy. I'm sitting here at like 500 power level thinking I'm badass, and it's like I'm not even close to where I need to be. So yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. It just the looting, while it's gotten better, it's not where it needs to be. They're definitely for Grandmaster 1 at least, I think there needs to be more masterwork drops, because I'm not getting the components, and I'm getting a lot of duplicates that serve no purpose to me. The amount of purple items that you get is absolutely staggering. It's ridiculous still. While I think that it yields more masterwork items, it's not yielding what I need. It's giving me duplicates of guns, or it's giving me duplicates of components that I already have. It's nothing that is helpful to me. It's just like a weird filler thing that they're trying to get me to go more grinding, and it's just, what am I doing here? On the technical side of things, when it comes to crashing or bugs, I didn't really notice anything. Steve's game did crash once, but I mean, I have, you know, games from like, you know, like 2 years ago that still crash, so I don't necessarily know I want to chalk that up to Anthem, but it did happen. And during the release of Anthem, my game was crashing all the time, so it didn't crash for me. So maybe it got better, maybe it didn't. I can't really tell in that regard, but I just, you know, letting you know that it did crash for him at least once. So in conclusion here, has Anthem gotten better? In some ways, yes. In a lot of ways, not really, because they're lacking in content. They're too busy fixing a broken game that should have been released as it is now, where it's at least somewhat stable. It has a decent looting system, probably needs a few more patches to fix and bump up the looting, and the community feedback needs to be a huge thing. They've been radio silent for so long. They've been, you know, ignoring essentially everybody, and if they're only reading negativity, then I mean, I don't know how to help them, because it's not necessarily something that people want to be negative about. This was such a hype game that everybody was looking forward to last year, and then it drops, and it's the most disappointing thing ever. This is like imagine Cyberpunk, all the hype everybody has, like Keanu Reeves, this, that, blah, blah, blah. It's all crazy. You get to make your own choices. You get to, you know, be a pacifist in the game. You can do all these things, and then you get your hands on, and it's Nothing like what was promised. The cutscenes don't look the way. The lighting, the graphical beauty of the game is downgraded to so much that it's just unacceptable. It's a lie. It's a sham. It's terrible. Like, imagine that. That's what Anthem was. It was so hype. It was the talk of the town last year, and it drops. And it fell so low that it just broke people's hearts. Really, it did. And I'm not sure if BioWare or even EA gives a fuck, and that's saddening to me because their game is shit. When a game is genuinely shit, you should feel bad. Like, you should feel bad. It's the same reason when a musician releases a song and nobody cares about it. It's terrible or whatever. Nobody fucks with it because it's bad. They don't know how to take criticism. They don't know how to accept that they produce something bad. They just think that, oh man, it's garbage. Just go ahead. It's garbage. But you know, it is what it is. I'm rambling. Let's just wrap it up. Yes, it's gotten better in some ways, but in other regards, it's just kind of still downgrading. But we'll wait to see what happens in another couple months, and maybe by 2020, the game will be somewhat playable. But maybe it'll make a No Man's Sky kind of comeback. We'll see what happens. But that's enough for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.